Yes, we are live. Okay, so we are dual streaming tonight. We are on our main channel, which you are watching right now. And if you're watching on the shorts feed, make sure you jump over to the main feed. We have got a lot to talk about tonight for your daily F1 news. Charles Leclerc has made a decision on when he's going to make his decision. We're going to get into it. We've got so much to get into, actually. Also, we've got stuff about Fred Vasseur finally sticking up for his drivers after the John Elkann comments, telling the drivers to shut up. We're going to get into all of that. And, there's fuel wars. Fuel wars are beginning. And this is all happening for F1 2026. I told you, it doesn't matter the season's over. The drama never ends. So if you are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're enjoying the video, smash a like on it. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our content. And yeah, feel free if you want to promote it, hype it, and do all that good stuff. So yes, this is all very new. We're dual streaming. We're on shorts, we're on the main channel, and we're going to see how all of this goes. Because if you are watching on the shorts channel, please jump over to our main stream, because that way you do get the entire experience. You get all of the graphics, all of the content, whereas on the shorts you just get my big head. My big head, and that's it. But you miss out on all the graphics. So yeah, it is important that you all jump over to the right stream. Okay, Charles Leclerc, everyone's favorite driver. He is very popular, to be fair. Charles Leclerc. Now everyone's been talking about Charles Leclerc's future. It's so wide open that the 27 driver market really is. There's never been a better phrase for it than silly season. Next year, it's going to be crazy, lined up for 2027. And we know that Charles Leclerc's had offers, interest, and it's increasing. It is increasing. And let's take a look at this article. So this is a news article from F1 Oversteer. So Charles Leclerc expects to know which teams will dominate F1 for years within 7 races under the 2026 regulations. Now, we're going to delve into this article a little bit, because this is where it's all coming from. So what Charles basically said is that because of the new regulations in 2026, that he will know within the first 7 races which teams will not just be good, but will dominate for the following 4 years. I mean, that's a bold statement. So what he's basically said is that once he's decided which that team or those teams are which will dominate for 4 years, he's instructed Nicholas Todd to explore the teams which he could potentially drive for in 27. What he has said, though, to caveat that is, I really hope that we start this new era on the right foot at Ferrari, because it's important for the 4 years after. He also added, I think it'd be a long struggle for the uncompetitive teams in 2026. Maybe not in the first 3 to 4 races, but by race 6 or 7, I'll have a good idea of who are the teams that will be dominating for the 4 years after. And it gets more interesting because we know about the Aston Martin interest. Aston Martin have already approached Nicholas Todd, Charles' manager, about a contract for 2027. But there's a bit of a left field one that you may not have seen coming. And it's basically Red Bull. There's the word on the paddock is that Charles Leclerc could be lining up a seat at Red Bull for 27, because Max Verstappen is highly unlikely to be staying there. Helmut Marko's gone. Literally, out of the top 9 senior figures which were behind the dominant Red Bull era, including Horner, Wheatley, Newey, Marco, on and on and on. There's basically two left, and one of them is Max Verstappen, and one of them is his race engineer. Who, by the way, is going to still be his. Lambiase is still going to be his race engineer next year as well. That is something to note. So, but Red Bull are also looking like a potential home for Charles Leclerc in 2027. I mean, what do you think about that? Could you see him in a Red Bull? I'm going to go to the chat. I need to. Oh, I've got. Hang on, DT, you're in the wrong chat. Sema, you're in the wrong chat. You're on the shorts feed. You need to go to the main channel page with the actual thumbnail, which is Leclerc Ferrari decision. That's the feed you want, guys. I know it's all change. It's all change. And then Sema's there, right? Okay, Sema, Mark, Triplex, you're all in there. It's DT. Where's DT? He needs to move over. So yeah, hey guys, how you all doing? So yeah, Sema's here, Triplex is here. Oh, so Triplex is saying it'll not be Ferrari, going to be either Mercedes because smart money, or Aston Martin because money, or some smart, or RBR because money, and Max or Williams because smart. Yeah, look, it's actually looking like Charles Leclerc's. I'll tell you what, it's looking like this for Charles Leclerc. Aston Martin definitely have already tried to secure him already. Red Bull now looks like a destination, which I didn't think would be a destination for Charles. And Mercedes, as we know, is only, even though Toto Wolff has actually gushed about how good Charles Leclerc is, if he wants Max, doesn't he? He's showed his hand, right? And basically, because everyone keeps talking about the power units, Mercedes, everyone's already decided that Mercedes have got the best power unit for 2026. Now, until we see it on track, we don't know that for sure. I mean, it's a good guess that Mercedes are going to have the best power unit. You know, their power numbers are good. But, you know, you can't just rule out Audi. Yeah, Lydon, everyone would be more happy to get Charles. Charles is a great driver. There's no doubt about it. So, it is. I thought it was interesting. I put Charles in a V-carb to develop him. Yeah, him and Liam Lawson. So the thing about this is it puts the pressure on Ferrari, and I think that's the whole point of this article. It allows, just as Ferrari have put the pressure on Fred Vasseur and said, listen, Fred, your 26 car, you've designed it, you've built it, you've led the engineering, you've got 4 races that takes us through to April next year to see whether you get to keep your job, to see whether you actually will still be the team principal moving forward. Well, Charles Leclerc's gone, yeah, well, actually, it's only going to take me 7 races to realise whether Ferrari are going to be competitive, not just in 26, but whether Ferrari are going to be able to get it together for the following 4 years. And this is the biggest decision of Charles Leclerc's career. Without a doubt. This is it now, because he's 28? He's in the prime of his F1 life. And if he wants to win a World Drivers' Championship, it is now or never. Is he going to go? I think he might. I think he will. If the power unit's not good, if the Ferrari package isn't good, if Fred's got it wrong with the 26 car, if the work over the Christmas break and the test in Barcelona and they just don't manage to get this package together, then yeah, Charles out. And what you're left with Hamilton, who I think Hamilton's a bit of a different kettle of fish, because Hamilton wants to win a world championship and he wants to do it in a Ferrari, and I think Hamilton just wants them to listen to him so we can at least help that team develop. And so I don't know. I think Hamilton would stay, and I think Ollie Behrman would fill the other seat. That's what I think will happen. That'd be my guess. And then I think Charles, like at that point, a free agent, where he goes to the team who've got the best car in 26, which probably an Aston Martin. Maybe, I can't look. If Red Bull have got a good car, then Max isn't going to go to Mercedes, is he? That's the thing. If Red Bull have got a good car, that stops Max going to Mercedes, because Max is going to stay regardless. But again, with Red Bull's an unknown quantity now. All their known quantities that were behind their winning period at Red Bull have gone. So now Red Bull are an unknown quantity. Who, you know, we'll have to see. Thane says 2027 we'll get Behrman and Piastri in a Ferrari. Well, the Piastri conversations is interesting because Piastri is also linked with a possible move to Red Bull. I was reading today. I mean, that's yesterday, sorry. Yeah, they were talking about Piastri, saying that obviously if he remains unsettled at McLaren next year, then he's got options. It could be Ferrari, Red Bull, not really Mercedes, but I think he would probably be up there for a choice for Aston Martin even. If Aston Martin couldn't get... They can't get Max. I'd be so surprised. If the car's quick, you know, they might get Max. But Aston Martin, I think, even Adrian Newey said, look, we haven't got Max money. You know what I mean? We might have Charles Leclerc money. You know, we might have George Russell money, but we haven't got Max money. Really, I think that's basically what we were saying. They couldn't afford. They couldn't afford Max. I know, Mark. 26 hasn't even started. We're all talking about what's going to happen in 27. I know it's because early next year, literally, like Charles Leclerc said it in that article, seven races is about right. Because halfway through the season is going to be 12 races. By the time you get to 7 races, people will be securing, like the deals will be starting for 27. People wanted to get. I remember when Carlos Sainz with Williams and his deal, it was right to the wire. Before, you know, who he was going to drive for. Was it Sauber? Was it going to be Williams? And some of those deals were right at the end of the season. But the conversations and the deals will start early doors, probably 7 races in. And if you're Charles Leclerc, you're going to be like, look, I want to secure my team. So he will be. I mean, like you say, 26. I'm still excited about the start of 26 in Melbourne because, you know, who knows? We might even see an Alpine at the front. I mean, I doubt it, but we might. Thane says, yeah, 2026 is just a development year for the teams. I agree. The WTC champ will be there at least 50% due to luck. Well, I think it's whoever's interpreted the rules correctly early doors, Thane. We've got, you know what it's like, don't you? Like every time we have these 5-year regulation cycles, when we come to year 1 again, we're never going to see a more diverse grid where the engineers and designers have interpreted the rules their own way, and some people get it right and some people get it massively wrong, and then they'll all copy Adrian Newey. Basically they'll all copy Adrian at that point, and all the cars will start morphing into a similar car. But yeah, I know what you mean about the first year of a regulation cycle being a development year. It is. I mean, I think there are good bets than bad bets. Like for me, it's a good bet thinking about Aston Martin when you look at the team they put together. Just not a guarantee, but when I look at the dream team, if you like, of Newey, Honda, Cardeal doing the chassis, you've got obviously Cowell focusing on the engines, which he should do because that's his wheelhouse. That's the best place for him to be. And when you start looking at all these puzzle pieces that they've brought together, plus the new facilities, which they haven't 100% got calibrated yet, but the new simulator, wind tunnel, you're looking at Aston Martin as an entire package as a team, and you go, yeah, with Honda as well. If Honda get it, if Honda do what they can do when they're at their best, if Newey's at his best, I think it's very hard to not. The sensible money has to be that Aston Martin are going to bring a great car. I think. I mean, that's what I think. But then you look at Mercedes and you go, well, the sensible money is on their power units, right? Because Mercedes are going to... Now it's a new regulation they're going to rely heavily on the power unit. Well, last time that happened, which was 2014, Mercedes dominated for 7 years. So they've got pedigree for this type of rule book. These regulation changes really fit nicely hand in glove to what Mercedes are good at. So you can expect Mercedes to be bloody strong. But it doesn't mean Audi aren't going to be strong with a power unit. It doesn't mean that Honda aren't going to be strong with their power unit, because I believe both of those manufacturers will be strong with their power unit. I think the big questions for the power unit next year is Red Bull Ford powertrain, and I hate to say it, but Ferrari. I think the Ferrari powertrain is definitely not nailed on to be strong. We haven't seen any data yet. I mean, they've got time to improve it, I guess, before testing in Barcelona, but it's just a big question mark, Ferrari, and so's the Red Bull Ford, and because of that, we're going to get, and if we're right as a community and we think actually, yeah, we agree with that, we're going to see drivers move, and we're going to see Leclerc move, we're going to see Verstappen move, and people move into those teams. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy. It's going to be a crazy driver market, but we've got to get there. You're right. You are right. 2026, we do have to get to that driver market, and 2026 first means new regulations, new cars, new platforms, new ideas, new engineers, new team principals, right? Just stuff's going on. So it doesn't mean we can't enjoy that for what it is. And I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. And Triple X says Mercedes dominated like they were the one who set the new regulations. Yeah, exactly. I mean, bloody hell, 2014, crazy time, wasn't it? It was like Mercedes wrote the regulations, and like I say, these new regulations do fit right into Mercedes' wheelhouse. It's perfect for them. So yeah, 100%, it's going to be a fascinating time. But I just don't think it's necessarily all Mercedes. Triple X, silver Aston Martin, blue Aston Martin, pink Aston Martin. What do you mean? What have I missed? Silver Aston Martin, blue Aston Martin, pink Aston Martin. I don't get it. Thane, AMR should have the best car, but they don't have good drivers. You have one who sucks at qualifying and the other doesn't have race pace. Oh, come on, Alonso. Alonso's solid. I think Alonso will surprise you next year, Thane. I think Alonso can still win a world championship. Alonso can still win a world championship. I'm sure of it. He's got it in him. He's got it in him. And then Triplex says Mert will copy them, RBR will copy them, and Alpine will copy them. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they will. They'll all. They did it with Adrian Newey's suspension setup at Red Bull. Everyone brought these wacky suspensions at the start of the last regulations, and it was all about the push rods and pull rods in the suspension. And everyone went, oh, Adrian's got push on the front and pull on the back. And everyone swapped their suspension and copied Adrian Newey's suspension in the Red Bull. Like, literally every team on the grid redesigned their suspension and copied Adrian Newey, apart from Ferrari. Ferrari were the only ones who went, nah, we're not copying the Adrian Newey suspension. We're going to stick with this one. And look where that got them. If they copied Adrian Newey's suspension like everybody else, that Ferrari SF25 might be a lot better than it is, to be honest. But yeah, it's what will happen. It's what will happen. So yeah, so Charles Leclerc, 7 races. That's when we're going to know his future. But that's good, because you know he deserves a good car. He's good enough. He definitely deserves a good car. Right, I'm going to go on to Fred, because while we're talking, it's a lot of Ferrari tonight, but while we're talking Ferrari, I need to give Fred a little bit of credit, because Fred finally has come out and he's saying some good stuff. Fred Vasseur, as we know, team principal over at Ferrari, he's absolutely deadly quiet after the Ferrari shenanigans. John Elkann, who was basically saying that the Ferrari drivers should shut up and focus on driving the car. Where was Fred? He wasn't saying a lot. He wasn't sticking up for the drivers. He wasn't sticking up for anybody. He was hiding. He didn't want to get involved. And then it comes out from Ferrari that Fred's got 4 races, 4 real Grand Prix to save his job. Because obviously those 4 races will be in the new regulations, the 2026 era. It's Fred's car. He's led the development. Whole new platform. They would have got rid of him, but they couldn't, because he's the one that's led the development of the 26 car. It would be detrimental to the project and the engineering. So they've kept him on the proviso. Right, you got 4 races. Show us that, that we're right to have you as team principal. Now, after that conversation, Fred has found his voice, because now he's been told that he's speaking up, which, is it? Because I understand it, because now he knows that his job's not a job for life. He's gone, all right, well, if I've got 4 races, I may as well try and do the best I can with the team whilst I've got the team. And this is what he was basically saying. So Fred's come out saying Fred Vasseur doesn't want Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc to say Ferrari are doing a good job. Right. He also said he also said Fred Vasseur said he has no problems with his drivers complaining in the media, as he's more focused on improving the team. About time he said that, because Vasseur took obviously a less combative approach, but now he's saying that I've just lost it. Now he's saying the most important thing to me is to have a guy coming back to us and pushing the team to do a better job and to work all together to try to get better results. The fact that they are emotional, so talking about the drivers, that they are emotional sometimes on the radio, and it depends on the guys. And all of you know Charles, he's always a bit critical with himself first and with the team and with everybody, but that's always with a positive dynamic. I know Charles for 10 years, 16 years, and he was always like this. He was always complaining about everything, but it's a positive dynamic that we're just there to do a better job. It doesn't matter if you're P4, P3, P1, the DNA is to do a better job. I accept this perfectly. The most important thing for me is that they keep the same approach to the debriefing to try to get a better car, a better team, a better everything, and that is how we will improve. I mean, so Fred's now saying the exact opposite of what John Elkann was asking him to do. Fred's now saying, I want the drivers to moan, complain. Don't tell us we're doing a good job. Tell us what's wrong. Give us that feedback. And we know you're going to talk to the media. We know you're going to be emotional when you get out of the car. We know you're going to say the truth. Well, tell us the truth, because that's how we can improve the team. And this is an exact, contradiction or opposite for what John Elkann wants. But Fred's now gone, hey, I've got a limited time here. I need to develop this car, especially the 26 car through testing. His name's across the top on the 2026 car. Fred Vasseur's led the engineering of this car, right? So he wants the drivers to do the exact opposite of what John Elkann told him to do. Tell me what's wrong. Complain. Moan. And, it's interesting because it's exactly what Adrian Newey was saying. Adrian Newey was saying the most important element of developing the car, it's not the computer design, it's not the wind tunnels, it's not the sort of the theoretical physics. It's the drivers in the car giving actual feedback to what the car is doing, because Adrian Newey can't jump in the AMR 26 and drive it, can he? Fred Vasseur and all of his engineers can't jump in the SF26 and drive it. So the feedback loop between the drivers and the engineers, especially at this point of developing a brand new car, is vital. And so Fred basically turned around and said, well, actually, yeah, I'm going against all this stuff that John Elkann was saying, and I'm going to tell the drivers, yeah, tell us what we're doing wrong, moan. And he's also, in a way, and I think this is nice, it's his way of also backing up Lewis Hamilton, because Lewis Hamilton got thrown under the bus a little bit because he created a document basically outlining step by step, this is how Ferrari can improve. From my experience as a 7-time world champion in winning teams, McLaren and Mercedes, I'm bringing you a blueprint. I can see, as a new person coming in, I can see all of these inefficiencies, all of these problems, all these things that you can't see, you're too close to it. And he goes, here you go, have a look at this. And instead of them going, oh my God, this is brilliant. You've analysed our team. You can actually see where the holes are. We couldn't see these things. The only thing we know is that we've been losing for 20 years. We haven't had a constructors for 20 years. They didn't approach it like wise men. They were like, how dare you? How dare you give us a document about the inefficiencies in our team on race day and how inefficient we are at providing upgrades. And, you know, well, it wasn't just upgrades, was it? It was all sorts. It was the fact that they just ignored the drivers. They said, we're not making those upgrades. We're going to do the suspension, you know, but it's also the decisions operationally on race day and race weekends. And they were just furious about it. And threw Lewis under the bus. And I think what Fred's basically saying is, well, we'll know more of that. Like, yes, Charles, you got a voice. Yes, Hamilton, you got a voice. And they are very important voices. We need to listen to them. And I think that's a good thing. So I'm glad Fred has actually found a little bit of backbone. I'm going to see what you guys. I'm going to get the chat. See what you guys are saying about that, because you know maybe Fred's the not the, you know, not all of the problem. Alonso. So Mark Reeves. What have I missed? Hang on, let me just refresh this. I think I'm behind on the chat. Running multiple chats here, guys. This is good. Right. So I don't. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Right. The team don't drive the car. The drivers do. It's simple. Like they can't. I'm sure Adrian Newey would love to have a go. I'm not sure he'd love to jump in and Aston and have a go, but he's not going to get the details he needs. And Alonso, come on. Alonso's definitely got to be considered he's got another world championship in him. He come on. You really don't think he has? He has. He's got one more. He's got one more, and it might be next year. Next year could be that world championship. That's what I think. I think he could. I think in the Newey car, if Newey gets it right, if this is a year where Newey gets it right, and look, not everyone gets it right every year, but if this is Newey's year, and he's had a whole year to work on this 26 car, he's not even bothered looking at the 25 car. Now he's a team owner. This is it. Surely this is the year, isn't it? So yeah, I can't put my faith in Lance Stroll, right? Even if the Aston Martin is ridiculously good, I still can't put my faith in Lance Stroll's going to bring it home for a world championship. That's the truth. But would I put my faith in Fernando Alonso and having the ability to do it? Yeah, I do. Especially if the Red Bull car's crap. Max is the real threat. Leclerc, Russell maybe, but you know, Lando, McLaren. Look, there's a few threats, but Fernando, I think, can beat all those guys on his day with a decent car. Max is the one who can make, a car that's probably a P3 car, a championship winning car. He makes a difference. Max does make a difference. A huge difference. Max is probably worth 0.3 a lap just for Max. I reckon Max is 2 or 0.3 faster than anyone else. That's the Max effect. That would be my guess. So Alonso needs a car that's 0.3 faster, faster than Max. That's what I think, or faster than him. No, that's what I'd say. The car needs to be worth 0.3. But yeah, Fernando, I think, can do it. I really do. But yeah, I think this is good news. I think this is good news that Fred's thinking, you know what, all in. Let's see if I can get this Ferrari and these drivers, backing me. I've only got a few races to do it. So Fred finding his voice, pushing back against John Elkann, about bloody time, if you ask me. Which actually brings me on to something as we're talking about Ferrari. It is right. So here's something you may not know. Did you know that each team has that they provide their own fuel? They have their own fuel supplier. So so obviously they build their engines, yeah, and not every car runs the same fuel. And Ferrari, their fuel supplier, currently has the least advanced synthetic fuel on the F1 grid. Now, this is big because Ferrari engines are supplied with fuel from Shell in a partnership that began from the very first day of Enzo Ferrari's racing career. Now, this is an issue because people don't think about this stuff. Even if you build a good engine, if your fuel's crap, what the hell are you going to do? And the Ferrari and the Ferrari fuel is terrible. And they also supply Ducati, Motorsport they supply Ducati as well. And the report states that Shell opted for a different technique when it came to developing a formula for the new regulations, which is currently causing them problems, in quotation marks. Pre-season testing is going to kick off in just under 2 months. 2 months, and the experts are scratching their head to try and find a solution. So what it means is that Ferrari could find themselves on the wrong end of a lot more retirements than their on-track rivals if their fuel isn't up to scratch. Now, when we talk about the fuel, it's not just about the performance of the engine on the race weekend. These engines have got to last. You can only fuel the car up once. There's no refueling allowed, as we know. And if the fuel's bad, it's not just you can lose horsepower, but you can also have wear on the engines. Like, it's a real problem, this, that Shell have decided to reinvent the synthetic fuel wheel, and at the moment are absolutely struggling with it. Plus the fact you've got a Ferrari engine, which we don't know is going to be any good in 26. It's not looking good. So the fuel wars have officially started, and right now Shell are losing them. But guess who's winning the fuel wars? Aston Martin. Aston Martin are currently have the most advanced fuel synthetic formula for 2026. Now, this is great news for Aston because it's a vital part of the puzzle piece. It's absolutely integral to the success. And basically, people don't understand just how important piece of the puzzle the fuel is in the new F1 regulations. Basically, it could prove to be a significant gap in performance between the manufacturers who get it right and those who don't. Now, according to the same report analysing all these fuels, Aston Martin are understood to benefit from the most advanced formula of fuel through their supplier, Aramco. And obviously, Aramco are a title sponsor for Aston Martin as well. Big partner. They'll be the only team to utilise fuel from the Saudi Arabian giants due to their title partnership with the company, as well as being the only team to be supplied with engines from Honda. This is really, really good news. Doesn't sound like a lot, but they've got the best fuel, Honda engine, and that fuel, by the way, is not available to any other team on the grid. Whereas Shell are allowed to supply other teams on the grid. But this Aramco fuel, which is already the best, is only available to Aston Martin. This is good news. The Japanese manufacturer has also made it clear that Silverstone-based constructor Aston Martin are the only team they're interested in working with. Blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that. And what President Koji Watanabe... got it right, said, for the moment, we're not considering supplying any of the teams. We want to concentrate on winning with Aston Martin and Aramco. In the future, if there's benefits to supplying multiple teams in terms of the feedback that provides, then yeah, of course, it's something we'd consider. But right now, it's Aston Martin, Aston Martin, Aston Martin. And look at what they're doing. So now, if you're a betting man, you really should be thinking about putting a bet on Aston Martin winning, and Fernando Alonso winning the World Driver Championship, because they've got arguably the greatest engine manufacturer that's ever existed in Honda in Formula One. They've now proven to have the best fuel that's only available to them No one else on the grid, because it's their titles. This is very clever. Imagine one of your title sponsors being the people who are actually, creating the greatest Formula One fuel 26 has ever seen. But no one's allowed to have it. Brilliant. And you've got Adrian Newey, the greatest car designer there's ever been. I mean, that alone. How can we be looking past Aston Martin? Yeah, Triplet says, I hope Shell ends up being better eventuated, refuses Aston Martin later. I absolutely hate this kind of thing, like Sony does with their games. Shell, different fuel, not another Ferrari controversy, please. Yeah, Shell. Yeah, basically, I find this fascinating. If you're Shell and you go, there's a yeah, and you're using the gift of science, and you go, okay, there's a way that we can do this, which other people will be doing. That's fine. But then you go, do you know what? Nah, let's reinvent. Let's go a different way. Let's go against the science. Let's go against the science of this, and try and invent a whole new fuel. And now that fuel's got problems, because here's what I think about this. If every team's bringing their own fuel, right, which they are, every team's got their own fuel. If there's ever going to be any sort of, I know, because it makes sense, because remember when Lando Norris was slowing down in Qatar, we thought it was because, oh no, it was Vegas, wasn't it? Slowing down in Vegas because and we thought it was because they wanted to. They always take a fuel sample out of the engines, don't they? That fuel sample gets analysed. So I was going to say that the thing is, if every car's got their own fuel supplier, surely that is an opportunity for fuckery, right? Even if your car is getting tested, what I don't understand is with Formula One is things that should be standardized, like fuel, like everyone runs the same fuel. Why would they allow for different? Why would they make it so there's variation in the fuel? I don't understand that with Formula One. Obviously, if you're going to develop an engine, say, well, everyone knows that the fuel source is standard, go and build your engine. But now you've got these advantages between fuel suppliers. So if you just happen to get, the GOAT, which looks like it might be Aramco, supplying Formula One fuel, well that's such a huge advantage, isn't it? I mean, how are we not having like standardized fuel? I don't know. It's literally, I don't know, built. I'm not sure that's the way we should go with Formula One. There should be. I mean, I'm sure the fuel companies love it. Aramco loves it. Shell love it. I'm sure Texaco supplies some. I don't know. Here's the thing. I actually don't know all the different fuel suppliers in Formula One. I actually don't know. Thane says, let's not try and discourage innovation. It's true. I love the fact that Formula One brought us carbon fiber. What else did it bring? What were the main things? ABS that came from Formula One. Retractable seat belts. Carbon fiber was, in my lifetime, was the big one that came from Formula One. Yeah, Mark says they should all run on 98. Yeah, but I love innovation. I just think it's fascinating because with fuel innovation, they're basically just building, because I should imagine the technology that goes into designing a fuel is relevant for the regular guy, for cars on the road, because it's about sustainable fuels, isn't it? And they need to have sustainable fuels in Formula One and efficient fuels. So don't get me wrong, I'm sure the technology is brilliant. Derek says, why should F1 get more standardized or regulated? Well, that's a good point. Because actually, Derek, I'm against a lot of regulation. Like, I don't like the fact that we have regulations on Well, I don't really like. I remember when a Formula One car was able to. Do you not remember, like going back to the 80s and 90s, when they literally said, "Build an F1 car. You decide how big the engine is, right? You decide." I mean, okay, they changed the regulation when Tyrrell did the four wheels at the front. Like more invention, more engineering. I'm all for it. I just think when it comes to components like engines, I I'm not sure. I just kind of think there should be some standardization. Like I think you've got a situation where in Formula One that as much as we need the innovation, we also need it to be we need it to be competitive and the racing to be good. So I agree that all cars should be a V8, but I think everyone should have their own V8. I don't think we should either. Everyone has to have their own V8, as in their own exclusive arrangement with like Honda, like Aston Martin have got, or you develop your own V8. I don't like things where you have a manufacturer like Mercedes supplying four teams with their engine. Like I think that shouldn't happen. So if anything, I'm for innovation. I actually don't like the fact that other teams can buy parts off other teams. I think in the pinnacle of motorsport, that we shouldn't be able to do that. I think if you're going to have engine suppliers, then yeah, they should only be able to supply one team. It should be. I don't think there should be any repetition or duplication of parts with any team. But standardization of fuel, I just thought would make sense. However, the more I'm having this discussion with myself and thinking about it, I actually think that Formula One is the pinnacle of engineering, and it should always be the pinnacle of engineering. And if you do happen to create a rocket fuel, which is better than somebody else's fuel, but that's perfectly legal and sustainable, then why shouldn't one team have that? But I do want good racing. You see, I don't know. I'm thinking about what you're saying, Derek, because I'm actually thinking about as you said it. Because I do want good racing. And when one team's so far out in front, imagine. Well, we've seen it, haven't we? I mean, we saw well start of this year, McLaren. I mean, they were so far out in front, but was that anything to do with fuel? Probably not. It was to do with their aero, wasn't it? Their aerodynamics was brilliant. They just got it right more than anyone else. I mean, God, they're running Mercedes power unit. I mean, Mercedes couldn't get their aero right. You know, that car's been awful. So, yeah, I do know what you're saying when you pull me up on that, because truthfully, I do want close racing, but I don't want to prevent these brilliant, rocket scientists, basically these engineers, to not do brilliant things. And I don't want their wings clipped. So I agree with you, Derek, in a lot of ways. You're right. Maybe fuel's just another area of innovation that we should really enjoy and appreciate as part of Formula One. Yeah. I still don't want electrification though. I tell you that for certain. Yeah, Jaman says, good afternoon. Cost caps that are a constant are a better way for competition. Yeah. What if you allow each manufacturer to supply a maximum of four engines? This keeps at least 6 engine suppliers. What if you allow each manufacturer to supply a maximum of 4 engines? This keeps at least 6 engine suppliers. I think my issue isn't that, honestly, I actually, the cost caps are good because it does allow smaller teams to compete. And if you're a Mercedes and Ferrari, obviously, if they could just have a new engine every race, they would, of course. But I still don't see why there's not a situation where if you can't have if you've got a team supplying 4 teams on the grid, or Ferrari supplying 3 teams on the grid, I think what's unfair about that is the data that their engineers collect. from those other teams. And I don't care what anybody says, they will be getting an advantage of that data for their own power unit. That is an advantage. And I think that's an unfair advantage. I really do. So, and I think there's other engine manufacturers which would want to come in. Like Cosworth could be should be in there, shouldn't they? I mean, they've made F1 engines that were good. You know, there's a lot of engine manufacturers that I think if they got, don't forget that the power unit budget for each team's gone up to $135 million from 95. So they've gone up by, it's gone up a lot. $135 million cost cap for power units. I mean, that's each team. So, if you're Cosworth, I think the problem is at the moment is the fact that they've gone to 50% electrification. If we, like Toto was saying a couple of months ago, roll back that, if we get rid of the electrification and really go back to what Toto was saying and the other team bosses say is the sweet spot for Formula One, which is a naturally aspirated V8 engine, well, reasonably cheap to produce, good solid engineering, sustainable fuels, and that's what Toto was saying is a sweet spot. If we go back to that, then there'll be a lot of engine manufacturers that would be interested in building a V8 F1 engine, naturally aspirated, that runs on sustainable fuels. I think there'll be a ton of manufacturers that want to come back in. It's all this hybrid nonsense. We don't need the hybrid technology. What we need is the V8s back with sustainable fuels. And actually, going back to Derek's earlier point about me saying about everyone running the same fuels, is actually really, really poignant now, because if they did roll back to like a V8, got rid of the hybrid system, then the fuel becomes even more more important for it to be sustainable and hit the targets that Formula One want to hit. So yeah, that's the sweet spot. But I think if we go back to V8s, I think we'll have I think we'll see less of this Mercedes supplying four teams, Ferrari supplying 3 teams. I mean, even with Ferrari though, that's not going to be for long. Ferrari is supplying Haas and Cadillac. Cadillac are already building their own power unit. That's going to be ready probably 2028. Toyota TGR Haas F1, which is obviously they're increasing their involvement with Toyota. If we don't think Toyota are going to have a power unit in the next 3 years, then I think you're wrong, and I think they'll be with Haas. So maybe Ferrari will be back on their own. The Mercedes will be the interesting one though, because because Mercedes are obviously going to make a good freaking power unit. So you need someone who's going to be able to compete with them. And Thane, and well, you know what? Thane says if they go V8, then Cadillac would just dominate until the European teams cry to the FIA to go back to hybrids. Well, Cadillac know how to build a V8, don't they? I mean, they do. But I mean, I did a video on it, and I had some. I found all the articles. I haven't got them on this stream, but I did a video saying V8s are back. If you find it, it's quite far down in the video section on my YouTube channel. I'll have to rewatch it myself. It was ages ago, and it was a whole article about Toto Wolff had been talking about V8s, and it's him and Stefano Domenicali and all the teams have been talking about the future of Formula One, and they were basically saying the future of Formula One is rewinding this electrification, because no one wants it. No one likes the noise for a start. Like nobody, these V6s are the shit, aren't they? Yeah, so naturally aspirated V8. The fans want it back. America want it back. Cadillac will definitely want it back. And yeah, Cosworth could make a V8. Yeah, Jaman says Cosworth is a great company, but most of the engine building employees have been hired by Red Bull and Cadillac. Have they? Right, wouldn't surprise me. Triplex says hate hybrids. Almost got hit by a hybrid road car recently because it was silent as hell. They are, honestly, they're deadly. You just go. Can't be dealing with it. Cannot be dealing with that hybrid. And I'm not a big fan of this. Have you driven a car with regenerative braking as well? It's so weird. Like the brake, when the regenerative braking system's active, it's breaking for you. It's a weird feeling. I don't like it. Ha! Mark says, was it an Uber? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's true, but nobody freaking wants it. Nobody wants it. But that video I did go into, I can't remember exactly the ins and outs of it, but definitely I did pull the facts, and it was all about the fact that they want to rewind back to naturally aspirated V8s, and I was dead excited about it. But then to be fair, there hasn't been any more news since I did that video. But yeah, so you must have to go and check that. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm just going to see if I've not missed anything. No. Yeah, no, got it all, covered it all. So yeah, the fuel wars, you try saying that, fuel wars. Oh my God, I've not even had a drink. The fuel wars have begun. Aston Martin are winning them. Ferrari are losing them. Ferrari's power units are awful. Charles Leclerc is going to know what team he's going to try and drive for within 7 races of 2026. And Fred Vasseur finally tells his drivers to speak up. Tell us what's wrong with the car. Don't tell us the car's good if it isn't. That's what we want you to do, which directly conflicts John Elkann's words. And that's pretty much tonight's show. That's pretty much all of it. So yeah, that's paraphrasing. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been an interesting little experiment, this dual stream. Hopefully people will see it and get them over to our mainstream. We'll try it out for a couple of nights, see how it works. But I will see you all tomorrow night at 7:30 for more F1 news and gossip and rumours, and we will get into it then. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-ta.